All right. Oh, that's my hair. That's my hair. Okay. She's been grabbing things lately. As you can probably tell from the bags under my eyes, I'm tired. Did you guys just hear that? I'm pretty sure she just filled her diaper. This is like the 5th time I've tried to film this video. Super irritated at this point. Either my mom calls me and she needs something, Stormy and Coco are chewing on squeaky toys, or Blake is super fussy. She's down for a nap right now. Take number 5. Let's do this. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Dina. If you're new here, I film motherhood and lifestyle videos here on YouTube. Sometimes I film random other videos like pranks, fashion videos, vlogs, hauls, stuff like that. But yeah, welcome to my channel. I'm super excited to be filming this and telling you guys, especially all the first time mamas out there. So let's get into the video. This is my birth story. I'm super excited to just give my 2 cents and my experience to help you guys out in any way, shape, or form that I can. And also, I'm so excited that one day Blake and myself can look back on this video and just know what happened. My birth vlog, I feel, shows a lot, but at the same time, only bits and pieces here and there. So yeah, I want to tell my entire birth story from start to finish, and in as much detail as I possibly can, to one day look back on and just be like, wow, wow. Anyway, so I have like how many pages? So I wrote it all down. I called my mom, I called 2 friends that I was texting, I had a whole conversation with Curtis just to get like every single detail as I possibly can, because for me in the moment it was super intense and it was happening so fast. So I feel like I don't remember it as clearly as I would like to, but that's okay. Like I said, I talked to everybody. I got everything down to the minute that it happened. Like I got the birth story, so we're good. So anyway, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages, front and back, of the 7 pages of my entire birth story, written all down because I knew there was no way that I would remember it. So let's get into the video. My birth story. Oh my gosh. Quick little information about me. I'm 20 years old. I got pregnant at 19 with my first. Don't plan on having another one. She is a girl. Her name is Blake. You'll see her later in the video if she ever decides to wake up from her nap. Sounds like she's starting to wake up, but she might self-soothe back to sleep. My birth story actually starts at 37 weeks. So I got the go-ahead from my midwife at my 37-week appointment. She said, go ahead and try everything you want to induce. It may work, it may not work, but you can try it. You know, it was safe at 37 weeks for me to start trying. So I was like, why not? I just started because I was super excited to meet her. So I tried everything to induce naturally. I tried primrose oil, pineapple, castor oil, walking, squatting, bouncing, taking stairs, going up and down stairs 2 at a time, yoga, sex. Nothing worked. At 38 weeks and 5 days, that was the first time I tried castor oil. I took, I believe it was 2 tablespoons or teaspoons. I'm not sure. If you look up the recommended dose, it's 4 tablespoons or teaspoons, but I don't remember. But I took 2 of whatever you're supposed to take. I took that at 2 o'clock, and then me and Curtis went for a mile walk. We went for a mile walk every day from 37 weeks up until 40 weeks. Not like every day, but dang near every day. And then when we got back from our walk, it was about 3 o'clock, and then contractions started at 4. From 1 to a 10, I would say that those contractions were like a 2. But at the time, I thought they were like a 5 because obviously I have never experienced that much pain before, so I just didn't know. But yeah, so I took that and they were really consistent. They were like 3 minutes apart. So I changed her diaper and then I started feeding her. She decided to projectile vomit everywhere, so I bathed her and put her in a new outfit, and then I just fed her again. And then I just burped her. So an hour later, I'm back. I'm filming again. I was really concerned that it was false labor. So I did everything that I could think of that usually stops false labor, such as laying down, drinking a bunch of water, taking a shower, taking a relaxing bath, so on and so forth. I did all that and it didn't stop. So I was like, okay, well, I don't think this is false labor. So I called my mom, even though she's up to date with all of this. Like, I'm keeping her up to date, texting her constantly through this whole thing. And she said, what do you want me to come over? And I was like, yeah, that'd be nice. I just didn't want to be alone because Curtis left for work at 6. So my contractions were super consistent and they were getting a little bit stronger. Like I'd say they were a 3 or 4 out of 10 at this point, and that's what I considered bad contractions at that time. Little did I know. So I called my midwife. Pain-wise, it wasn't progressing. It stayed about at a 4 of pain. I could still walk and talk through them perfectly fine. So I called my midwife. I was like, well, what should we do? She was like, well, why don't you come in and I'll check you. We'll go from there. So I called Curtis. I told him what we were doing. Obviously he was at work, so he's like, okay, I'll meet you there. So my mom drove me, and then Curtis met us there. I got checked. I was 1 centimeter dilated and 80% effaced. So we're getting there. Got a long ways to go. Long ways to go. But we're getting there. I was like, okay, cool. So she was like, go home, try all those things that you did before again to try to stop it if it's false labor. All that went down on a Monday. And my next midwife appointment was that Wednesday. Me and Curtis went home just in case things progressed. So me and Curtis were just chilling, and they got a lot worse. The contractions were a good 5 that night. I could still walk and talk through them, but I was like, this hurts. Like, this is wow. Again, little did I know. So I finally fell asleep that night. I don't know how. And then I woke up in the morning and they were still there, but they were like, at that point, the contractions were like a 1, and they were like 10 minutes apart. They ended up stopping around 9 or 10 a.m. I don't remember. But I was like, okay, that was just false labor, like no big deal. I was low-key really disappointed because obviously I wanted to have my baby. I wanted to meet her, but I was like, that's okay. And that was that. I went to my appointment on Wednesday. They checked me again. So at that point, I was 1.5 centimeters dilated and still 80% effaced. My midwife said that she had dropped, so she was down. And it was pretty much just a waiting game at that point. And I was like, okay, cool. Did all that, went home. Next on my notes is my 40-week appointment. They checked me again. I was still 1.5 centimeters and 80% effaced. Baby was dropped, but at the 40-week appointment, they noticed that she was, what's it called? She was an OP baby, which means the OP position is when the back of baby's head is against the mother's back. Let me go into that a little bit more. A breech baby, now there's a difference. A breech baby is when baby's head is up here, like right now. Obviously, the ideal position is when baby's head is down here and the feet are up here. But there's also OP position, and then obviously the ideal position. So OP position is when the baby's face is facing this way, and then the back of baby's head is towards the butt. The ideal birthing position is when the baby's face is facing the mom's butt and the back of baby's head is towards the front of mom. Yes, the baby can be birthed either way. OP position doesn't, like, you're not going to need C-section or anything. What it means is that it's going to be a little bit harder, especially for first-time moms. A lot of the time, it's not a big deal because most babies, if they are OP position, they flip during labor. And my midwife was telling me she has dropped, but we do want her to turn around. If she doesn't, not a big deal, but we do want her to try to turn around. So she told me a bunch of yoga positions to try. She was like, baby could come at any minute now, but I do want you to be prepared for the worst case scenario. And I was like, absolutely. I'm one of those people that loves being prepared for the worst case scenario. Hit me with it. She talked about if you do have to be induced at the hospital, she told me all the different ways that they can induce you, and she knows that I am 100% a naturalist. So I was like, well, what can I be doing now? And she was like, well, I can do a stretch and sweep, and I've heard about stretch and sweeps. I didn't like them, but at this point I was like, you know what, a stretch and sweep doesn't sound half as bad as being hooked up to an IV with Pitocin in the hospital. So I was like, do it, go ahead and do it. So she did it. It hurt, so that happened. So my appointment was around 11 a.m. that day on Wednesday. So Thursday, the next day, I went to the bathroom that morning and it looked like I had lost my plug or had my bloody show. If you don't know what that is, Google it. So I just wanted to make sure that that was totally normal. I called my midwife. She told me, yep, that's completely normal after you have a stretch and sweep. She said, expect some spotting for the next 24 hours. That's completely normal. I was like, okay, cool. So just like she said, I got spotting for the next 24 hours. Nothing happened from that Thursday night, the last time I spotted, until Monday. So Monday had arrived, and I actually didn't do any yoga positions that the midwife recommended that I do. I didn't do any. I don't know why. I think I was like really busy. Like, I think the nesting stage hit me really hard, and I was just cleaning all day long. From the minute I woke up to the minute I went to sleep, I was just cleaning, getting everything organized and just ready for baby. And then that Monday, I was like, okay, you know what? I'll just do them and see if I do anything. I did downward dog. I did cat cow. I did some crawling around on the floor. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I was doing that. And then just like any possible way that I could be upside down. So for a little bit, I was like half hanging off the couch. I was really, really careful, you guys. Obviously, I was 40 weeks pregnant. I was just doing everything I could to turn this baby. And up until this point, I was getting lightning crotch pretty regularly. If you don't know what that is, it feels exactly like what it sounds like. Lightning, like you're getting struck by lightning on your pelvic bone. Hence why it's called lightning crotch. Let's adjust this camera a little bit while she's sleeping. This is when it starts going down, guys. It just felt like she dropped again. Like that's, I can't explain it. It just felt like there was more pressure down there, and it just felt like she was down so low. And that's just the best way I can describe it. So the next day, Tuesday, I wake up. It's a normal day. If you guys don't know this already, my fiance Curtis works third shift. So he gets home about 7 a.m., is up for a little bit, and then goes to bed at 9 a.m. So he's in bed. I'm starting my day like normal, and 12:40 comes around and I start feeling Braxton Hicks. I'm like, okay, this is normal. Like I've gotten Braxton Hicks the last month now. This is normal. They're about 8 to 15 minutes apart at this point. So they're getting a little bit more consistent. About this time, they're like dang near 8 minutes apart. On a pain scale, they're like a 3. So I'm texting Kurt's mom, I'm texting my mom, but I told them both like this is probably false labor. Like I really don't think this is real. So again, I did everything to stop it. I drank water, I laid down for like an hour, I took a shower, nothing stopped it again. So I was like, okay, mom, do you want to come over? And that was about 2:14, I believe. And we were just talking, and she was taking a bunch of pictures, which I'll insert. By the way, Curtis gets up at 3:30 every day. So from 2:14 to 3, they were getting a little bit more intense. And one of them was so intense that it actually brought a tear to my eye. And I was like, this is real. Like we are having a baby today. This is real. As they were getting a little bit more strong, at that point, I'd say they were a 5. So as they were getting more consistent and more intense, my mom told me a trick. So she said, take your hands. I took both my hands, and she said, just rub your belly downwards like this with both hands. And then Curtis got up at 3:30. All right, baby is content playing with her toys. Let's continue. So Curtis gets up at 3:30. Me and my mom tell him what's going on. He's super excited. I tell him there's no way you're going to work. This has got to be the real thing. Like you are staying, you are not leaving me. At this point, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Me and my mom are starving. So he goes and gets us McDonald's. And I'd say that is when the contractions kicked up a notch, and oh my goodness, they were bad. So I'm walking and talking through them still. He got back with the food around like 4:30. It took him forever because he said the line was just ridiculous at McDonald's, so it took him like 30 minutes to get back. I could only eat like 2 bites because it was just so painful, and I was not hungry. So 5 o'clock rolled around, and I was like, I need to call the midwife. This is getting intense. At least I want to go and get checked. Like this is hurting so bad. So 5 o'clock rolls around. I call the midwife. Her assistant answers. She says she's delivering a baby boy at the hospital. So she was like, can I take a message for her? I was like, absolutely. So I tell her what's going on. And she was like, okay, she should call you back within 20 minutes. If it's any later than 20 minutes, call again. So she called me back like 15 minutes later, told her what's going on, and she said, why don't you meet me at the midwife center? We'll check you and see what happens. She was like, if you're a 5, I'll admit you. If you're not, you can go home. And I was like, okay. Low key in my mind, I was like, I don't care what I am, I'm not leaving. So the midwife told us to meet her there at 6:15. So my mom at home, she's gonna let her dog out and meet us there. Do you guys hear how chatty she is? So Curtis loaded up the truck, and we met her there at 6:15. My mom was like 3 minutes behind us in her car. So this whole time, how I'm getting through the contractions is I'm walking around. I'll just show you. So I was just walking around, and I was going like this to my belly the entire time. I'm the kind of person that when I'm in pain, I like to walk it off. So I was like, I'm gonna have to sit in this car for 35 minutes to the birth center. This is going to suck. The contractions are just now getting to the point where they're like really intense. This is gonna suck. I bear down, we get in the truck, we're driving there. So for the last like 10-15 minutes of the drive, I had to switch to like hypnobirthing. I didn't plan on doing hypnobirthing, but I did a lot of research on it just so I would know what to do in case I needed it, which I'm glad I did because I did use it. So we get to the birth center at 6:15. She's checking my vitals. She said everything looks amazing, you know, you're doing good. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna check you. So at this point, she checks me. She says I'm at a 5. She was like, now we just have to wait until you get to a 10. So I was so stinking excited. Someone is not excited. You don't want to hear how you were born? Okay, anyway, so she checks me. I'm a 5. I was so excited. I was so happy. Like, the pain disappeared for like a good 5 minutes because I was just so high on excitement. I don't even know, but I was like, I'm halfway there, let's do this. Curtis was so excited for me. He was like, we're gonna meet our daughter today, like this is happening. So he goes out to the truck and gets all our hospital bags. My mom comes in. So my birth center is really, really cool. It's kind of like a little house. So when you first walk in, there's a huge living room, kitchen off to the right, and then there's 3 back bedrooms they all have their own bathroom and bathtub because my particular birth center specials in water birth. So my mom's there, she's in the living room, I'm in the back bedroom walking around, you know. At this point, the sun's just starting to go down, so it's absolutely beautiful. So I'm just sitting here in so much pain, and I'm just like looking at the sunset like, wow. Went out there and labored with my mom. The fireplace, it was so pretty, it was so beautiful. It was just such a magical moment. I loved it. Like, I know some women are traumatized from their birth experience, and I feel so bad because it is such a beautiful thing, and I just wish everybody could have the experience that I had. Just because, like, looking back, I honestly would not have changed a single thing. It was such a good experience. So from the time I was laboring in the living room, the contractions went from a 6 to a 7. They were getting more intense every minute. Around this time, maybe a little bit earlier, Curtis called his parents. I texted all my friends, telling them, like, this is it, baby's coming, like, it's happening. I'm so excited. I posted it on my social medias. So Kurt's family is on the way. And then I just got super nauseous. So I went back in the bedroom and into the bathroom, and Curtis followed me. I feel like I'm losing my voice. I got super nauseous and I thought I was gonna throw up, so I went to the toilet. I leaned over it for a little bit, nothing came up, and the midwife was just like reassuring me, like, that's super normal, you know, don't worry about it. It happens to more women than you think. I didn't throw up though. That bathroom in particular had a really big vanity, so I grabbed the countertop and I was just like squatting, grunting the whole time, and Curtis was behind me, and he pretty much did anything and everything that I told him. He was just super awesome and super helpful. I love him so much. And that is when the contractions got bad. They were an 8. And then like 5 contractions later in the mirror, I told my midwife, I feel like I need to poop. Like, I feel like I need to push. But from that time to when she checked me, it was only around like a half hour. I was like, there's no way I'm at 10. There's no way I'm ready to push. But at the same time, I was like, I need to listen to my body and I need to trust my body. So I was like, I need to get in the tub. So she quickly filled it up for me. I got in. A few contractions later, she was like, do you want me to check you? And I was like, yes. Like, I feel like I need to push. Check me. Tell me what I am. Oh my gosh, impressive. She was like, you're a 10. You're complete. Like, you're ready to go. She was like, that's impressive how fast you did that. And I was like, yep, you know it. No, not really. I was like, oh my gosh, how did I do that? Like, I have no idea. I was like, I did not think this labor was gonna be that fast. Holy crap. But yeah, I was in the tub. I was ready to push. I didn't know how to push, but my body did. People told me like they felt like they needed to poop. I was like, okay, you're crazy. Like, come on, there's gotta be a better way to explain that. No. When you're ready to push, you feel like you have to poop. That's it. End of story. It feels just like you have to poop, okay? I'm telling you. And when you start pushing, that is exactly what it feels like. Your body's doing the same thing as you would to push out a poop. So yeah, it was 7 o'clock when I got in the tub. They say that being in the water can cut the contractions up to 50%. I don't think it cut it 50% for me, but it was dang near. She is out like a light, so I'm gonna go try to lay her down and I will be back. All right, let's see where we were. So yeah, I got in the tub. The water, like I already said, it was amazing. I highly recommend water birth, you guys. It's, oh my gosh, it's amazing. So at 7:11, I started pushing through every contraction. I did not have the midwife telling me, you know, when to push, so on and so forth, like they would in a normal hospital. I just listened to my body and I pushed when I felt like I needed to push, which is really interesting if you compare it to a hospital birth. Well, water births in general are just, it's so interesting when you compare a hospital birth to a water birth. But like some contractions, I felt like I didn't need to push through. And then sometimes when I wasn't having a contraction, I felt like I needed to push. So it was very interesting just to feel out and see when my body felt like it needed to push. This whole video is TMI, but a little bit more intense of a TMI. So every time I pushed, I would feel down there, you know, down there, just to see like, can I feel the head yet? You know, the whole time I could feel her, and she would just get obviously farther and further along. I could feel like her hair, her little head. It was, the whole process was amazing. I'm sure you can see in the video, which I'll link up here and down below. You should totally go check it out. It's so raw and real. It's beautiful. But anyway, at one point I even asked Curtis, I was like, do you want to feel her head? Like, you can feel her head right now. So he did, and his reaction was just like, every contraction I wanted to scream, but my midwife kept telling me like low sounds, almost like a growl. Oh, like that's what I kept doing. I remember thinking, I'm not gonna have a voice tomorrow. Like, my throat is gonna be raw. I'm not gonna be able to talk. Like, this is gonna suck. But that didn't happen. The next day, my throat wasn't even sore. And then towards the end, one of the pushes, I actually heard my water break. I heard it and I felt it. It was just like a... At that point, I was on all fours in the tub. The whole time I was in the tub squatting. I bet I could just show you guys what I'm talking about. Let us come in the living room. So half the time I'm in there sitting like this, or like I'm leaning up, and then the other half of the time I'm like this. I'm on my toes, ready for baby to come out. The one where my hands were on the floor and I was leaning up, that's where I felt my water break. Curtis actually saw it shoot out. Told me he didn't really know how to describe it, so I can't really describe it for you guys. But he did say that he saw it come out. It does just feel like a pop. I know some women's just like trickles out sometimes, but when it's like a pop and it just comes out like that, it's intense, and it does sound like a pop. So one of the things I love about water birth is that the room is not full of nurses and doctors and staff, so on and so forth. I cannot stand the idea of that. It honestly just makes me mad thinking about it. So up until this point, it's only me, Curtis, my midwife in the room. So at this point, a nurse comes pretty much just to help her and get everything ready when the baby comes, like the towel, the hat, you know, so on and so forth, checking its vitals, checking its weight, stuff like that. I only ended up pushing for like 24 minutes. The only way I can describe it is they call it the ring of fire. That is exactly what it is. It just feels like it's burning. And what the midwife told me was, she was like, let that burn be there. Don't fight it. Like, that's just, everything is stretching out so baby can fit through. It hurt. Looking back, the contractions were not that bad. What was bad was the burning. I actually did not feel her head come out. I didn't even know. Like, at that point, the burning was so bad. I was like, I didn't have time. Like, I didn't even think of putting my hand down there and feeling, you know, what was the progression at that point. So yeah, I did not feel her head come out, but I did feel her second shoulder come out. And then she, in the tub, she just went. So when you plan to have a natural water birth at my midwife center, they ask you, what is your plan? What do you want to happen? They don't tell you, which is why I chose water birth instead of a hospital birth. But that's besides the point. I told them I wanted to catch my own baby. So she was out, and the nurse was like, grab your baby, and I grabbed her, and I'm just pulling her up, and I'm just like, all the pain, the burning just stopped. Everything just stopped. Like, I was holding the baby, I put her right on my chest, I leaned back on the tub. Oh my goodness. The nurse kind of just took over from there. She asked me, is it okay if I put a towel on her? Is it okay if I put a hat on her? I said, absolutely. Like, it was a little chilly in the birth center at that point. So they put a hat on her and they put a towel on her, and I was just sitting in the tub, and they were like, you let us know when you're ready to push the placenta out, and then we'll go from there. So I sat there for about 5 minutes, and I was like, I'm ready to push it out. I was like, I'm ready for this pain, bring it on. Did not hurt at all. No pain whatsoever. So don't be scared about that. I was a little bit scared about that. It was just like 2 really quick, easy pushes, and the placenta was out. I actually had delayed cord clamping for Blake, which means when she first comes out, they do not cut the cord and then push the placenta out. Nope, they leave baby attached to the placenta. There's a bunch of different benefits for that. If you want to go look it up, go ahead. There's so many benefits to that. It's called delayed cord clamping or a lily birth. They put the placenta in a bowl, and it was sitting on the edge of the tub, and I was holding my baby. And then they told me, when you're ready to get up, let us know. So I did. About 15 minutes later, I got up. They were gonna do skin to skin with Curtis, so he took off his shirt and they put baby on him skin to skin. He went and sat in a rocking chair. Blake was still attached to the placenta. She checked me for tears. I did tear a little bit. Literally, it didn't even need a stitch. She did tell me though, like, that is impressive. She was like, you pushed for 24 minutes. That is such a fast birth, especially for a first-time mom. She's like, I cannot believe you didn't tear. Like this, like, she was like, you are amazing. She's like, Dina, seriously, just be proud of your body. That is amazing. And I was like, thank you. Thank you very much. She was like, you won't need a stitch. Like, it's so small, you're good. But if you want, I can give you one. And I was like, well, I was in a lot of pain at that point. Getting up from the tub and going to the bed, honestly, it just felt like I got hit by a bus. I was walking so slow and my vagina was just in so much pain. And then we took some pictures of baby with her placenta. This is where I get annoyed. I accidentally deleted all of them. I had like 6 different pictures, and there was like, between her and the placenta, it like went into a heart. It was so cute, and I deleted every single one of them. I am so irritated and frustrated at myself that I did that too. Like, that is ridiculous. But yeah, after that, Curtis cut her cord, and that is where I will end this video. I will be filming another video soon about all things postpartum. That'll be fun. I hope I was helpful to any new mom or expecting mom out there. But yeah, overall, it was a really good experience. Like I said before, I wouldn't change a single thing. It was the most beautiful, amazing thing ever. I'm so proud of my body. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of Curtis. I'm thankful for Curtis. I'm thankful for her. I'm thankful for my body. Again, like, I will always look back on that birth and just think, wow. Wow. It was everything I could have ever asked for. Again, if you guys haven't seen my birth vlog, I will leave it down below so you can go check that out. If any of you guys out there feel up to it, please comment down below your birth experience. I'm actually really looking forward to reading those. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.